Hello, EDCI 700 cohort, Charlotte folks. Hi, it's Dr. Palermo with your week 8 message, and the message is you have lots of writing to do, so there's not so much reading and discussion board posts to do. Yes, there are 2 chapters in Morgan that you should look at and check out. Morgan, images of organizations as political systems or psychic prisons. Wrap your mind around those metaphors, please. Political systems, yes. If you live in the state of North Carolina and have not experienced changes in your statuses as teacher as a result of the shifting color of the tide in the legislature and the state house in North Carolina, you haven't been paying attention. Political systems have changed a lot in the last few years because of public control of the legislature in Raleigh. South Carolina can't say so much. Psychic prisons, I'm sure that many of your students would agree that their schools are prisons and psychic prisons. So do we lock the children down when we get there? Do we squash the creativity and the freedom of their preschool lives? I don't know. If you can use these metaphors again in writing about your school in your organizational analysis, that is a good thing. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing the class presentations on those chapters from Morgan. And again, enrich your mind, dive deeply into some of that stuff and see what you can come up with. I am going to ask you to do this discussion board post, revisit the teacher leader model standards, how hopefully you will be seeing connections now and know why you are doing some of the work that you are doing in gathering data, analyzing data, collaborating with others to analyze data for your evidences. It's driven by the TLMS, but reflect on that and give us a thought about it. And here in your tip for the week, I followed some of these links and also checked some of my knowledge of APA, and I have both a shout out and an apology to make. Hey, first of all, there are no direct links like this embedded in Blackboard. You got to copy and cut and paste it into another window, and then it'll open fine. Purdue OWL is a wonderful resource, and that's where I go for most of my APA knowledge. I have the book on the shelf, but this is a quick resource when you're at the computer. I told someone, I'm not sure who it was, as I was editing papers this week, I told someone that APA style, your paper, your CNA should not have a running head. Wrong. Dr. Palermo gets it wrong again. Yes, AP, I checked. I've seen lots of papers without them, but APA is style says you're supposed to have a running head, a short title at the top of each page. So I stand corrected there and added it if you want to be correct. But APA, lots to learn. In this case, how to cite something from a class or online in your document, and that's APA tip for the week. Read some, but mostly writing. I'm behind on grading your discussion board posts, but I'm going to get caught up on those this week. And I have read every OA and CNA introduction or overview that has been submitted so far. The overview of both those pieces is simply to introduce your school. It is a good idea to say something about your school. Name it and tell us if it's in a district or not, something in the size or population of the school. And then here's what we're going to do, a comprehensive needs assessment. Here's what we're going to do. An organizational analysis should consist of this, this, this. I'm going to ask a shout out again. Kavina Satterwhite has a really nice introduction overview for her comprehensive needs assessment. Praise Kavina, and I hope you'll share that with your colleagues. They don't all have to look exactly like that one, but writing, in your writing now, you're doing scientific writing, try to avoid passive voice if you can, but just the facts, man. Subjects and verbs and straightforward simple sentences and prose is what is expected in this style of scientific APA writing. think audience. I'm reading it, and your principal or PTA or leadership team might read this CNA. It should be clear to them, but a real test would be, what about your average Joe? And I used to say this was the 7-Eleven test, but bringing it local, a grocery boy junior. Stand outside a grocery boy junior and think of the average customer, the client leaving that fast food, that convenience store. Could you give your CNA to that person? Could they understand what it's saying? Your average Joe should be able to get it. So try to write so that Joe understands just what it's about. Tense, let circumstance drive it, please, but don't use past tense to describe something that you've not done yet. And again, there's a danger when you copy an exemplars too. And yes, do your own writing and try to find your own prose voice in these things. They're all going to sound alike because they all have the same basic components. But just like every chocolate cake can be different, try to make your evidences, try to own your evidence and make it your own fancy chocolate cake. Thank you. That's my message for this week. Hope it's a good week for you, and write on. Look at the markups for those CNA OAs. Look for the little blue text box that tells you what I'm thinking and the feedback on your document, and write on. Thank you. That's all for this week.